Like, again, I've seen a lot of folks saying that Wilness needs to be shot in the chest, and an equally large group of people saying it's been 2 weeks, get good. Where do you land on that? I actually hate both of those people, right? Because, like, yes, it's probably too early to tell with genuine certainty if Wilness is, like, is he broken? Oh my god, belligerent, he needs nerfs, right? But also, it's been 2 weeks, get good. Bro, we have to talk about things, right? If we don't talk about, like, at what point has the character been out long enough that we can start having opinions on their strength, right? The idea of, like, tell me instead why 2 weeks in you think he's reasonable, right? We could do that. You know, tell me instead why 2 weeks in you think Wilness is reasonable. That's, like, if you go, okay, like, you know, oh, it's too early to tell, but, well, I think that, you know, once people start, like, fuzzying the high-low and, like, realizing that, you know, a lot of the times where he's only +2, you can actually take your turn back, and, like, they figure out, the camera, maybe the camera Oki is, like, seeable or something like that. I think he might get held back a little bit by a 7-frame close L, so I think he's got good stuff, but, like, you know, by and large, I don't think he's, like, as broken as people make him out to be. Amazing! Awesome, good job, thank you. It's been 2 weeks? What the fuck do you mean, man? At what point can I talk about the character? Is 3 weeks long enough where we can start having an opinion on his strength? 4 weeks. 5. 5.5? Okay. Yeah, 5.5 weeks. Like, shut the fuck up, man. The only way that we get to, like, established opinions on a character is by talking about things before we're not sure about them. Right? We have to talk about things as they develop, or we'll never get to concrete opinions. Like, you know? Can you do the camera Oki thing? I don't think I'm doing it right. It usually sets up off either one of these launches into something like this. Or, no, it's into, I think the new one is this. 1, 2, and then MDP, right? Bonk, this, that. 1, 2, MDP, right? And then from there, he goes high-low, but there's a manual timing to it. But yeah, so I think it's very silly to go, Wilness has broken the video game. He needs, this character needs to be removed immediately. But I actually don't see that many of those people, right? I don't see that many of those people. I see a lot of people saying that they don't like fighting Wilness, whatever. People said that about every single DLC since the beginning of time. People don't like new characters, right? The only ones that people said that about fucking Vayne and Vikala on release. I've been around, man. People said that about Vayne when he came out. People said that about Vikala when they came out. They don't like fighting them, right? People are going to be fighting game players, hate fighting every single character in the game, including their own, for some reason. Like, motherfuckers just don't think the game is fun, I guess. So, people saying, like, I don't like fighting about Vikala, yes. People saying I don't like fighting Wilness, whatever. But I've not seen that many people talking about, like, Wilness is broken and needs to be shot in the head. I've seen way more people, right? I mean, Versuja was considered broken when she came out, and people were wrong, yes. But again, people also did say, like, oh, I hate fighting Versuja. Even if they were like, I don't think she's that good, but I hate fighting her. Very different thing. That line has been said about every DLC in the game's lifespan, right? But, like, you know, I've not seen that many people saying Wilness is incredibly broken and needs, like, an emergency patch like Beatrix, right? I've seen lots of people complaining about those people. Maybe I'm just, like, in the wrong spaces. I've seen way more people complaining about, don't nerf Cinnamon Roll Wilness, can we not have one good big body in the video game, or can we not have one good character who's unique in the video game? Does everyone have to be fucking Shoto Slop? And I'm like, who are you? You're fighting ghosts, man. You're fighting ghosts, brother. I've seen people call him insane. I haven't heard patch stuff. Yeah, I think Wilness is quite strong. I think Wilness is going to end up being quite a strong character, right? And I think that, again, there may very well be things on this character that, even if he's not, like, a top tier, he might have things that maybe are a little belligerent for him to have. Maybe, right? Or sell Barak, okay, that's good. We'll play a little bit of Jita after. But, like, you know? Like, he's not, you know, he's not gonna let you hit, bro. I don't know what to say, right? We can talk about, I love Wilness. I think I'm going to main Wilness. I think Wilness and Ladiva are gonna be my co-mains for the rest of the game's lifespan. But, like, we don't have to treat it like it's oh, no, don't say the new character is good. What if they nerf him? I'm like, okay, well, if right? Like, if he needs to be nerfed, then maybe he should be nerfed, right? And if he doesn't need to be nerfed, give me counter arguments as to why. Right? Like, give me why you think he's reasonable. Don't just say, oh, can we not knee-jerk about this? Okay, so what do you think? Like, what do you think? What do you think the character's strength level is? Tell me why, right? Like, the only things I've heard people say, basically, are like, his knee's reactable. Alright, man. No, it isn't. Right? No, it isn't. Like, no, yes, his knee's reactable if you do this. right? Sure, right? But like, reactable, by the way. By the way, I will give you those counter arguments, right? I do think, again, I think Wilness is going to be bullied on defense in ways that some characters just really aren't. Yes, you got a meterless DP, but you can't just DP your way through everything, right? But like having a 7-frame close L is a problem that exactly 2 characters have, him and Vasaraga. And do you know what's funny about Vasaraga? Even to this day, even with how insane Vasaraga is, probably for my money, either like the 2nd or 3rd best character in the game, Vasaraga still has some of the worst defense in the game, and this is a huge culprit as to why. Him having a 7-frame close L, right? Wilness has the same problem. Yes, he's got a meterless DP that Voss doesn't have. Yes, he's got 6/6 L, right? Stuff like that. But Voss has armor that he can use to like sometimes gimmick his way out of the corner too, right? Versuta has a 7-frame 5L. Yes, it's true. It's true. He counts as well, but hers is like hers being a far L, I think helps a little bit, right? Basically, like it being like it can convert into auto combo from long range and stuff like that, right? So like, Wilness is going, there are going to be cases where Wilness could struggle on defense if you just stick to him like this. He can DP, certainly, sure, but like that's not going to give him very good rewards, right? And his mash options, while they are very high rewards, he's still going to have a hard time finding those hits, I think, right? Now again, because of the just insane reward that this motherfucker gets on defense, and also this, I don't think I would say that Wilness has bad defense, right? And again, the fact that he does still have the meterless DP and everything. I don't think I would say he has bad defense, but I do think it's going to be an area where certain characters, like this motherfucker, for example, is going to be a great example of this, right? Soares is going to bully Wilness on defense real bad. +1 is where it's going to matter, right? This right here, right? His far L here is going to beat Wilness's 2L, right? +1 into this, whereas normally Soares being +1 here is kind of fake, right? Now I'm not hitting. There you go, counter crush. Jesus Christ. That was all me messing up the timing. But basically, his only 6-frame button is 2L, and 2Ls lose to every other button, right? Soares does to Wilness what Wilness does to Charlotta. Interesting. I don't know what Wilness does to Charlotta. But, like, any amount of... if you're +1 ever against Wilness, in Soares' case, +1 means you can far L. If you're -1, and you have a 6-frame far L, right? So for characters with 6-frame far Ls, if they're -1... or no, sorry. Vera. Vera with her close L, right, for example. Vera's this leaves her -1 in close L range, right? There are 2 characters that cannot do anything about this. I guess 3. And their names are Versuja, Vasaraga, and Wilness, right? Vera here is -1, but it leaves her in close L distance, right? So Vera does this, and then bonk, right? And Soares does 2L, or Wilness does 2L, he's gonna lose, right? You see? So there are going to be like this is like, we can go through the cast and find problems, but like having your only 6-framer, a 6-frame close L is one thing, right? Having your only 6-framer be a 2L is not good. That's like a unique defensive weakness that only 3 characters have, right? Their only 6-framers are a 2L. Now again, Wilness has ways to get around this. If that 2L does hit, he's sending you to hell. You're taking like 6k and getting put in the corner. He's got Guilty Gear 6p. He's got a meterless DP. But like, it is a weakness, right? Outside of, like, once people understand fully how Wilness's high-low works, it's not quite as threatening outside of camera Oki or outside of certain meaties, right? Because you can fuzzy high-low this, even though it looks the same, as long as you see it coming. Just block high for most of the time and then block low, and you don't even have to react to it, right? And if he doesn't space it out, right, here, Wilness can't actually take any pressure. He's +2, but if you throwing will beat anything he does, right? Now again, I'm not saying that Wilness's high-low is entirely fake, because in a lot of cases, for example, off the camera Oki, like if he does this, not only is it going to hit meaty, so you can't fuzzy it, it's also, if you block the 2-2M here, he's +3 because it meaties, right? So then it's real. And you can even talk about, oh, well, the camera Oki, you can see his skill icons, right? The problem with the camera Oki is you can see him hit the skill icon for 2-2M. Okay, well, I mean, one thing is, you can't see anything like that for 5 view, and he can 2M as well, right? He can manually time a 2M low with a frame kill too, which doesn't have these problems, right? He can have them hit at the same time, right? So like the camera Oki is still real, and even then, if I'm being completely real with you, right, something like this, you don't get like an absurd amount of time to see that skill cooldown flash, right? That in itself is already a pretty difficult reaction check at that point, right? Like to see that skill cooldown flash like that in itself is already like a pretty difficult reaction, right? You have like much less than even the time you have to see this to see that skill cooldown flash, right? So, while it's true that Wilness right now is probably the best character in the game, that's because no one knows how to fight him. The reality of the matter, though, is that both things can be true at once. Right now, Wilnesses are just doing literally anything and winning because the character's risk reward is so high that if you don't know, like, if you're letting him get away with some stuff, if you're letting him get, like, extra stuff that he shouldn't get, then yes, he's going to be genuinely broke and absurd. However, that does not automatically mean, oh, once you learn the knowledge checks, the character's actually bad and fake and doesn't have anything and definitely is super fair and doesn't need any nerfs, right? Everything about the, like, oh, well, okay, this is fake because X or Y reason, there is a more constrained situation, which is still very good for Wilness, where that thing is actually real. You know, Wilness does have an unironic 50-50. He just needs to get a hit first, set you up into it, right? But that's not, you know who else does it? Like, a lot of characters have that in the video game, and it was always very good. I need to hit you first, and then I can set up a 50-50. That's really good, right? Now, he doesn't have it at, like, round start like this, like Wilnesses currently do. They just do this, and it hits you, motherfuckers, right? But, like, that's insane. Like, that's, like, broken straight up, right? If you could just, like, round start 50-50 you, that would be genuinely game-breaking, right? He doesn't have that. He does, however, have a real 50-50, right? He just needs to be in the corner and set it up first, right? You know, again, like, Wilness, the Hadron Smash stuff, for example, is fully real, right? This is just real. Like, this is really good Granblue Zone and spacing traps from a character with big-ass buttons, right? Hadron spaces him outside of the range of even some 6XLs, and even if he's not outside the range of your 6XL, you have to do it frame perfect to punish him, right? So, like, there's a lot of stuff that is, like, very good, like, very real and good about Wilness, right? Valid Hadron spacers? Yeah, like, from here, Vera 6XL is not even going to reach, even if she does it frame perfectly. And if she tries to do that, she's going to get spacing trapped, and oh my god, oh, I'm sorry. Wilness spacing trapped you with far H after Hadron? We'll send your remains over to your next of kin. I think you can do light Hadron after that, probably, for a nice, clean, like, yeah, 6.5k for getting spacing trapped, right? And you can also go into camera Oki. That's true. You're right. You can do this into the camera Oki. That's very true, right? Wilness can just set up the 50-50 because you got spacing trapped, right? So again, like, he has a, like, I know that I'm talking to, like, the most obtuse people who are not worth engaging with on fighting game discourse, but I want to use all of, like, the people talking past each other in discourse to remind people that two things can be true at once, right? Two things can be true at once. A character can have a bunch of knowledge checks that, you know, aren't real, and as you learn more about them, you know, those tools get less effective. And those tools can still be good. Okay? Like, that's all it is, really. Right? Wilness is not the first character who's been like this, and he's not the last. Cagliostro is absurdly, ridiculously broken if you don't know what's real and fake on her. Right? And if you do, she's still pretty good. Honestly, any character can kind of fit into this line, but similar, you know, Lawayne is genuinely, like, he does not have any counterplay if you don't know how to deal with, like, Iggy or Human Pyramid or some of his moves, something like that. If you do, Lawayne is still really good, right? Very similar thing, you know, a lot of people, Matera or Fairy or Eustace or these zoners, are way better against them than they should be because they have no idea how to fight them, right? You straight up just run into Matera or Fairy's loving arms and die. However, even if you know, like, the correct RPS game to play against Matera, she's still really good, right? Both things can be true at once, people. The idea that, like, yes, right now, some Wilnai are getting away with very fake shit that is not going to be real, even, like, a week from now. Fine. That doesn't mean, oh, actually the character is fully, perfectly balanced. And you know, leave my cinnamon roll alone, right? And again, I'm not even saying the character needs nerfs. I'm seeing all of the arguments that I've seen as to why he doesn't are just stupid, right? I'm sorry. They're just dumb. Like, there's people going like, actually, X thing that is obviously incredibly fake is obviously incredibly fake, and therefore, people don't know what they're complaining about with the character. Bro, just throw him out of knee, bro. What are you fucking talking about? You don't even know what the character does, and you're purporting to talk about his strength, right? I'm not saying we need to nerf him. I love this character. Maybe we need to nerf a couple of things. I'm thinking about it, right? But we have to talk about these things and develop opinions before we're sure about them, right? I almost feel like people were saying Wilness has only been out for 2 weeks, get good. Are you just waiting for, like, Diaphone to make the master video to tell you what to think about him? Like, now that Diaphone has made the master video and called him degenerate, are you like, okay, actually, maybe Wilness does need a nerf? Like, Because that's just not how discourse works. The idea that it's like, oh, it's too early to tell. I'm like, what do you mean? We have to talk about things. This is how opinions get formed, right? We have to talk about things or we can't form opinions. So if you're like, are you just waiting for someone to give you the opinion and it hasn't happened yet and that's why you're saying it's too early to talk about it? I don't get it. Like, it doesn't make any sense. We have to talk about things before we're sure about them, or we can never end up being sure about them.